Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis with episode 4 of Codex Analysis Orks. If you've missed any of the previous 3 episodes, make sure to go and click the links in the description to watch those now. Particularly episode 1 for special rules and episode 2 for much of the war gear list. Today we'll be talking about the elite section. So the elite section got a little bit worse because of one unit being moved, and that being the looter. The looter is now in the heavy support slot. My opinions on that I will discuss on the heavy support episode in a couple of episodes' time. But the elite section doesn't pack all that much. There are only 5 units and a character in here, and they're all suited to a different job. So let's jump right in. First unit is Burna Boyz. 80 points for 5, and they are the same stat line as Ork Boys. So weapon skill 4, BS 2, strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound initiative 2, 2 attack, leadership 7, 6 up save. Nothing special. They're armed with a burner, which is one of 2 things. It's either a flamer, or if you don't use your flamer, you can treat it as an AP3 melee weapon that is 2-handed and strength user. This means that if you do not wish to use your flamer, you have power weapons, or if you're locked in melee over protracted turns, you have power weapons. It does mean that you cannot overwatch if you want power weapons, for example against Space Marines, but it's a nice versatile trick to have. The only issue is, of course, their range is ridiculously short. They're also armed with stick bombs, which are basically frag grenades, have Here We Go, Furious Charge, and Mob Rule, meaning that those power weapons can hit at strength 4 on the charge with Furious Charge. And you may include another 10 in the squad for 16 points each. This means a full-size squad will cost you 240 points. Up to 3 models may be upgraded to mechs, who have exactly the same stat line, and replace the burner with a mech's tools, slugger, and chopper. This allows them to fix vehicles they are embarked upon or next to on a 5+ in the shooting phase. Slugger and chopper is just basically a bolt pistol and a melee weapon. Any mech may be accompanied by a Grottoiler to allow them to re-roll a mech's tools, 5 points per mech. Any mech may replace his chopper with a kill saw, which is a chain fist for 20 points, and can take items from mech weapons including a combi scorcher, rocket launcher, custom mega blaster, and custom mega slugger. Personally, I don't like mechs in burner squads, except for one reason. They allow you to fix transport vehicles. You can take a truck as a dedicated transport, which I covered in the last episode, and this means that you can keep your unit very, very mobile. Because if it gets immobilized, you can fix it with your mech, meaning that your Burna Boyz aren't suddenly stranded at the back of the board, which is always nice. Grottoiler, if you are going to run a mech, is pretty much a given. Kill saw I don't like because you are strength 6 most of the time, and that's still not going to do much. It does have armor bane though, so against anything that's armor 12 or less, you should probably do a decent job of penning it. Maybe in R14 you have a chance, but armor 12 is the best thing you can aim at reliably on the rear armor. But then you're wasting your Burna Boyz attacks anyway if you do that. So I don't like kill saws that much, but it's an option. And as I said, they may take a truck. If you want to know more about that, check the previous episode. Tank Busters. These guys got slightly better in this codex. They're 65 points for 5, meaning they are 13 points each. Same profile as a burner, so 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 7, 6 up. And they're armed with stick bombs, frag grenades, tank buster bombs, melter bombs. This is a big improvement. There used to be crack grenades that worked like melter bombs, so they were strength 6, 2d6 to penetrate. Now they're flat out strength 8 melter bombs. And that's really, really good if they get up close. And you'll probably need them to get up close because of their rocket launchers, which are basically 24-inch range crack missiles. The problem with them is your ballistic skill is still 2, meaning that to get 2 or 3 hits, you need between 6 to 9 tank busters. And that means you're probably going to pay about 130 points, or probably at least 100 points to get a reliable tank buster squad. That's not good. They have Here We Go, Furious Charge, and Mob Rule, and Tank Hunters, meaning they do more damage if those rockets actually hit, which is nice. And they have Glory Hogs. It used to be they had to shoot at vehicles that they could see, which was awful. Now, in a mission with First Blood, i.e. every mission, the Ork player receives double victory points if the first casualty removed is an enemy vehicle destroyed by tank busters. So if your tank busters get First Blood, you get 2 points for it. Okay, it's a neat perk, it's nothing special, and you shouldn't rely on it for First Blood because they're short-ranged. The only reliable way to do that is to take as big a squad as possible, a la 12, inside a truck, because that's the best way to get them up and shooting. You can take up to 10 more, so a full squad of 15 will set you back 195 points, and may include up to 3 bomb squigs for 5 points each. These are unique to tank busters, and they are Well, they were kind of average, but I think they may have got a little bit better. So a bomb squig, it's one use only, can make a shooting attack using the following profile. Cannot be used to make snapshots, cannot be used to target flyers, flying monster creatures, or skimmers. So you can't fire it if you're snap firing, i.e. you're pinned, and you can't use it as a flyer killer because, well, that would be snap shooting as well. But skimmers is something else you have to worry about. 18-inch range, strength 8, AP 4, assault 1, one use only. Always hits on a 2-up, meaning that you don't have to rely on that terrible ballistic skill because you're actually sending a squig to run at something. So this is okay at killing vehicles. I stress okay because although strength 8 sounds great, it's still AP 4, meaning you can't wreck vehicles outright. That is a small issue, but on weakened vehicles like Lehman Rusties that you've got onto the side of, or a Rhino that's carrying the last remnants before you set your Burna Boyz on and you run out of rockets, it's a good way to finish it off because it's reliable at hitting. They're 5 points each and I thoroughly recommend taking them. Taking them does not affect transport capacity, they are just decorative in terms of the model you use. Up to 2 tank busters may replace their rocket launchers with tank hammers for 15 points. Tank hammers used to be basically just a strength 10 melee weapon with no AP. Now, they are strength 8, AP 3, melee 2-handed, unwieldy. So it's a melee rocket launcher. Yeah, I did say that, meaning that it's more likely to hit, but it does mean you've got to get into melee and sacrifice all your shooting, though they are assault weapons, so there is a chance it will work. Bear in mind, it is unwieldy, so it is unfortunate if you are stuck in melee against something else, you can't use it immediately. Personally, I think Tank Buster's got a little bit better. You can upgrade one model to a boss nob for 10 points. He is basically just a normal nob, so weapon skill 4, BS 2, strength toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, initiative 7, 6 up save. Use him as a wounds tank. He may take melee weapons, so Big Chopper and Power Claw. In this sort of squad, you probably actually really want the Power Claw, although a Big Chopper still will hit at strength 7 on the charge, which is okay. May take a Boss Pole, just basically defaults mob rule to breaking heads a bit more reliably, which is still not great, but bearing in mind that you will not be in melee because of the fact you're a shooting unit, it could be useful to have. And the unit may take a truck, as I said, check the last episode for that. Nobz. Nobz used to be the most OTK unit out there because they had Nob bikers and they could take pain boys and war bosses, and they were really, really powerful. I don't know if they're quite as good, but they're still useful. So they're 54 points for a 3-man squad, which is 2 Nobz and a boss nob. Now, the profiles are identical. Weapon skill 4, BS 2, strength toughness 4, 2 wounds, 3 initiative, 3 attacks, leadership 7, 6 up save. The only difference is that the boss nob is a character, meaning he can be used for challenges. They are armed with Slugger and Chopper and stick bombs, have Here We Go, Furious Charge, and Mob Roll. Nice and simple. You may take up to another 7 for 18 points each, meaning a full squad will set you back 180 points. Any model may take ranged or melee weapons, combi weapons, power claws, big choppers, any weapon in those sections like twin link shooters. Take whatever you like in any combination. Either go all melee, all shooting, all tank hunting, all infantry hunting, whatever. Just mix and match as you see fit. One Nob may take a War Banner for 20 points. Now, War Banner was a +1 weapon skill buff to the unit. And it still is. So all models in a unit, including a War Banner, are +1 to weapon skill for their profile. This means that your Nobs are weapon skill 5, and any attached characters, like War Bosses, become a weapon skill 6. There is a Warlord trait, I believe, that adds +1 weapon skill, or something like that. Or there was something that gave a +1 weapon skill. I think it was one of the relics, but this does not stack. Bear that in mind. I'm just going to go and find what it's called now because I'm curious. Yeah, so the Lucky Stick, if you take it, gives the bearer +1 weapon skill, does not stack with a War Banner. So War Banner with the Lucky Stick in a War Banner unit is not WS7, he's still WS6. Something to bear in mind, but War Banners are generally really, really good. And they don't take up a weapon slot either. Any model will take an ammo run for 1 twin link roll. Any model will take a boss pole, 5 points. Probably useful because Nobs are quite tanky. They can take hits, but you can't take big squads. And for a few turns at least, you won't be in melee. The entire model may take heavy armor, 4 points a model. Absolutely essential. Yes, it means your squad now costs 22 points each. But that 4+ save is so vital, particularly with 2 wounds. And the entire model may take war bikes for 27 points each. Now if you take a war bike, you get the 4+ save of heavy armor by default. And you change to a bike. Warbikes used to give out a 4+ cover save all the time, but I think they got slightly nerfed. So they changed their attack to bike, get a 4+ armor save, and if they turbo boost, they get +1 cover save until the start of next turn, meaning that their turbo boost cover save goes up by 1, jinking saves go up by 1 if they turbo boost. And they also have a twin link Daka gun, which is 18-inch, strength 5, AP5, twin link, which is a decent gun, and gets around the low ballistic skill by having a lot of shots and twin linked. Personally, I don't think Nobz bikers are quite as good because pain boys are more expensive and you need them in other places, but Nobz bikers are still a viable option for 45 points each. Add a war boss in there, add a big mech with a custom force field in there for some absolute hilarity nonsense, and a pain boy if you really want to go full Death Star. It could work. The alternative is Mega Nobz. They are 120 points for 3, and they are basically the same profile, but instead of a 6+ save, they have a 2+ save. So they are weapon skill 4, BS 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 7, 2+ save. This sounds incredibly sticky, but they have no invuln and a still toughness 4, meaning one las cannon looks at it, it's dead. This is why I suggest if ever you run Mega Nobz, get a custom force field mech. Whether it's in Mega Armor or not, get one close to give them a 5+ invuln at range. Once they're in melee, they're probably going to be okay, because they'll be striking at the same time as power fists and whatnot. So they'll do all the damage anyway. But custom force field, essential. Pain Boy could be really useful in here as well. So you get 2 Mega Nobs and a Boss Mega Nob. The Boss Mega Nob is the same as a Boss Nob, so no stat buffs, just a character for challenges. They're armed with Twin Link Shooter, so 18-inch straight for AP6, 2 shots, Twin Linked, Power Claw, Power Fist, Mega Armor, and Stick Bombs. Now, Mega Armor used to give you slow and purposeful. Does it still do that? Here we go. 2+ armor save, bulky, slow and purposeful, meaning that you take up 2 transport capacity, and you always count as moving difficult terrain, I believe, but you do get relentless. Relentless is useless though, because all your weapons are assault anyway. Now here we go, Furious Charge Mob Rule, bearing in mind that with their power claws they will still strike at strength 9, not 10, because the Furious Charge buff is applied after the double strength. I always used to get confused by that, that's how it works. May include the 7 additional Mega Nobs, may replace their Twin Link Shooter and Power Claw with 2 Kill Swords, basically give them 2 Chain Fists for an extra attack, normally, and you sacrifice their shooting. I think this is a worthwhile trade if you're not planning to put combi weapons on, because that's your other option. You may replace the Twin Link Shooter with a combi rocket or a combi scorcher. Personally, I love combi scorchers because they are a heavy flamer just before you hit melee, and that's really useful. So I think a couple of combi scorchers, maybe a couple of kill swords if you're expecting vehicles. Combi rocket, no ballistic skill is a problem. Anyone want to take a boss pole? Absolutely, because you are tiny squads. You can have a full squad of 10 for 400 points, but that's very rare that that's going to happen. So I would not recommend doing that. Boss pole is really, really good for keeping order, unless you have a character with a boss pole attached to the unit already. War Boss and Mega Armor come to mind, or that big mech with force field that I was already talking about. They may select a truck or battle wagon as a dedicated transport. Because the truck has a transport capacity of 12, they'll need to be 6 or less. The battle wagon has a size of 20, so they could fit anyway. Personally, I never really liked Mega Nobs, but I think with the Kill Swords option, they have a little bit more versatility, and the models now look a lot cooler as well. I still don't rate them that highly, but they have a chance to do some damage if you can get them up close quickly. Finally is sort of 2 units that go together hand in hand. Commandos, 50 points for 5 Commandos. They're the same profile as Ork Boys, Burna Boyz, and Tank Busters, so 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 7, 6 up. And they are just infantry with Slugger, Chopper, and Stick Bombs, so frag grenades. Here we go, Furious Charge, Mob Rule, Stealth for a 6-up cover save all the time, or +1 cover save, Move through cover, and Infiltrate, which gives them outflank. This is useful. Excuse me. They're going to include, again, 10 in a squad, another 10, sorry, so a full squad of 15 will set you back 150 points. Up to 2 may replace their sluggers with rocket launchers or big shooters for 5 points. Personally, because you're probably going to be hugging cover, I don't like either of these, rocket launchers especially. But you can take burners for 15 points each. Take 2 burners. Nothing wrong with 2 burners in commando squads. Sneak up, drop flamer on unit hiding in cover, win. And that means that the squad will now cost you 80 points or 180 points, whatever. But it's well worth it in my opinion. One model may become a boss nob for 10 points, may take items from melee weapons. I've talked about boss nobs already. May take a boss pole. Again, boss pole is probably kind of useful because you won't be in melee if you're playing sneaky, particularly if you're running burners. Melee weapons, big chopper is fine in most cases unless you're planning to tank wreck, in which case a power claw will help. And with Commandos comes Boss Snickrot. He's 60 points, and he can only join Commando units. If he's included in a detachment with a unit of Commandos in it, he does not take up a Force Org slot. Meaning that he doesn't actually take up a slot if you take Commandos. It works like that. And he can only join them, so you can't hide him in a boy squad or something. He's Weapon Skill 5, BS 2, Strength 5, Toughness 4, Weapon Skill Wounds 2, Initiative 3, 4 attacks, Leadership 8, 6 up save. This is a really nice cross between a Nob and a War Boss. He's an infantry character who's unique, and he's armed with stick bombs. Here we go. Fury's Charge, independent character, mob rule, infiltrate, move through cover, stealth, and fear. Fear is kind of nice, because dropping weapon skill to 1 means that you're more likely to hit on 3s, and your opponent is hitting on 5s, but I wouldn't rely on it. You are still quite quick, though, with Initiative 3 is faster than a few units. Space Marines is a problem, though. If he joins Commandos that held in reserve, this is other rule ambush, and no other independent characters join the unit, so you can't do this with Distraction War Boss or something. Stickrot's unit can move them from any table edge when they arrive from reserves. It's super outflank, and you don't roll for it, you just choose. In addition, they have stealth replaced with shrouded on the turn they deploy or arrive from reserves until the start of their next turn. So on the turn they turn up, they have a 5+ cover save by default, and if they can get into some cover, that's a 3+ cover save. Tau players, you know how good that is. So that's a really nice thing, and coming on anywhere means that you can deploy those burners exactly where you need them. He also has a relic weapon called Mork's Teeth. It's a pair of melee weapons actually, so it gets +1 attack. Strength, user, melee, AP 5, and shred, meaning that those attacks that do connect at strength 6 on the charge are re-rolling to wound, and it's why fear is so useful. So you'll probably be hitting on 3s in many cases because you're weapon skill 5 anyway, and then wounding on a 2 or a 3 with re-rolls. AP 5 means that you'll just mow down Imperial Guardsmen. Company command squads need to really be aware of Snickrot or Tower Ethereals or the like. And that's the Ork Elite section. Nothing much in there. Snickrot actually got 25 points cheaper, so I can see some value in there. So let's go back through, shall we? Burners. Good, but they're a kamikaze unit. You use them, you hit something, they die. Or you take them, they die, because your opponent knows that getting power weapons in is a problem, and flamers are horrible. If you're going to do it, I suggest a mech in a truck. Possibly give the mech a combi Scorcher as well for more flamers. Tank Busters got better because Tank Buster bombs got buffed. Squig bombs got a little bit buffed. Tank hammers got more expensive, but I don't think you really need them. Probably to get a boss pole in there just to mitigate mob rule, so a boss knob. Although it does mean you sacrifice a rocket, give him a power claw as compensation. Nobz, really versatile, can do just about anything. I personally like Warbanner Warbiker Squad, possibly with attached Painboy and Warboss for added calamity, but if your opponent gets a good pie plate on them, you lose the game, because it's Death Star. Mega Nobz, same issue really. They hit harder, but they die actually kind of quickly because you only make so many 2+s, so you need to have either a force field mech or a Painboy, or both, in or around the squad. Personal combo, a couple of kill saws, couple of scorchers, and a boss pole. Commandos, burner delivery unit. Best thing I can say for them. They have stealth now, meaning that if they can get into cover, they are pretty hard to shift, and they have to move through cover, which is nice. Boss knob with a boss pole probably needed, give him a big chopper as compensation. Snickrot, useful buff. Mork's Teeth is terrifying, but only useful in certain situations, such as against armies with low saves. Imperial Guard and Tau or Eldar come to mind. So that's the Ork Elite section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you have any thoughts, queries, or suggestions, be sure to leave any comments down below. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and I will see you all again.